My name's Wojak, and the work I did in the cube was called Whitewash. And the cube, having the glass walls, gave me an opportunity to do a piece that I wouldn't be able to pretty well do anywhere else. And it was based on the fact that there are so many ills in the world that are perpetuated in the name of morality or politics or commerce, that are actually things that are morally good and yet they are punished. So I wanted to really draw attention to how perverse human nature is in doing that. The whole point of it was to infiltrate, not hit people over the head with it. I wrote the one big statement, which is all it takes for evil to happen is for good people to do nothing. I then whited that whole statement out, so it was completely, the whole wall's whited out. The words I then write are either innocuous or actually positive words. So there's love, affectionate, boy, girl, man, or whales, Pacific Ocean, island. So they appear quite innocuous or positive. It was only when I start filling in the gaps and the sentences become full sentences that you realise that love is actually a sentence that says love between men is illegal in 76 countries, followed by the statement it is, and the death penalty is in 7 countries of the world. So people have this thing, it's like watching a skywriter. You see a word, what's the next word that gets them to pay attention? And it was seducing them with the softness of the innocuous words and then hitting them with the brutal reality. And I really wanted brutal reality to infiltrate into that totally kind of, hey, we're here to have fun, we're in a nightclub space, because it infiltrates our lives on every level and all over the world. It started because sometimes, you know, you're reading stuff online and you're coming across things that you just kind of go, this is so wrong. So there were a few I was aware of. I mean, the new Russian laws are an obvious one, the anti-homosexual propaganda laws. And so I'd start Googling keywords. There'd be things like, there are certain things that occur that I really wanted to draw attention to that the general public just forget are out there, like the concept of correctional rape, which occurs a lot in South Africa. You know, that men set out to rape lesbian women in order to make them, you know, turn them back onto men, and murder them quite often. The concept of honour killings, where 2 sisters are shot by their brother for dancing in the rain. People eat chocolate unaware of the fact that most of the chocolate in the world is sourced in Africa with child slave labour. And so you've got this juxtaposition of writing the word chocolate and children, and then you put them together and you realise that something so innocent actually isn't innocent. It was interesting how energetically how it changed for me, because I didn't have any particular order I was writing them in. I wanted to collect things from all over the world, because I initially wanted the anonymity of, these are evils, it doesn't matter where they're happening, they're evil. But now now we can put their context as well to show that it's happening all over the world. It's not just limited to somewhere over there. It was, as I was writing the random words, I just had my cue cards and slips of paper. So I just walk over and go, oh, it's that one. Oh, it's that one. I didn't have them in any particular order. And I didn't even get to use half of them, because I knew I wouldn't. And while I was still writing the random words, it was quite kind of, there's this very kind of even, slow rhythm to it, because I'm on one side, then I'm on the other side, and back again. Once I started filling it in, even the way I wrote became much more pronounced and harsh. And then by the time I'm washing off that window, it was like I'm really washing off that window. You know, no amount of tears is going to wash away those ills. You know, and I see that water running down as a sort of collective token of tears running down. And the wiping it all off again is we so choose to forget or ignore those things because they're unpleasant truths, or we feel we're powerless to do anything about them. And so, let's just wash it all off and it'll just go away and we can ignore it. So that thing of no amount of tears can wash away those ills. Let's just wipe them all away and pretend they don't exist. It was a real physical act. Washing those windows was very physical. My current project and what I've been travelling with in Asia is a project that started in a residency at Big C in Bilpin, and it's the Love Letter Project. And I put a call out on social media that is killing the art of letter writing, for love letters to be written by hand and sent in the old school snail mail, post restart Bilpin. Every day I would collect them with my bicycle, and all of them went on a blog. At the end of the 2 weeks, I would create a performance that was based on the material in those letters, in collaboration with Eve Klein, who works under the name Textile Audio, who's a composer and soprano. And it resulted in a 45-minute performance that is called Sincerely Yours, and actually incorporates the physicality of the letters in the performance and leaves an installation at the end of it that becomes the trace of both the performance and the whole project. When I took it to Java, it was at Undisclosed Territories, which is a festival, number 7, held in Solo in Java, in the mountains. And then I also performed it in a gallery in Yogyakarta, where it stayed up as an exhibition for 2 weeks. And there was actually a writing desk in the gallery for people to continue contributing letters to the project. As it's moved, the performance also evolved. So in Java, it was also filled with the smells of Java. There were piles of spice defining my performance area. There were chilies, there were roses. It becomes a much more sensory thing once it can stay up as an exhibition. It was an incredible tapping into depths of emotion and heights of emotion, because one of the conditions of the letter writing was that in sending me the letter, all letters remain anonymous, and that you agree to allow me to somehow use them to make a performance. And it allowed people this a huge honesty and intimacy, a revealing of intimacy, and showing an amazing amount of trust on my part. So I felt a huge responsibility to actually do that justice. The song lines it's a site-specific piece that happens every time it happens. It's not the same performance, even though the principle is the same. I'm completely white ochred. I wear a long white simple dress, and I am completely encased in 100 meters of white rope. And as I travel through the landscape, that rope unravels from my body, and how that rope unravels and how my body moves, it's more like the rope is leading me into how I move, not the other way around. And as I travel the landscape in each different location, it's telling a different story, and it's telling the story of that place. For example, when I did it in the Royal Botanic Gardens when I was a resident there, it was retracing the original shoreline of the harbour, which had been buried by the colonials. It was a beach, to turn it into the lower gardens. But it had actually once been a gathering ground for the local Gadigal people. And it was just telling people, this is where the shoreline should be. And I write a word each time relevant to the site. So it started in Java at the first Undisclosed Territories meeting 7 years ago. And the latest one that I have now got, which will be in an exhibition in Lismore, was actually the most personal one, and it was staged on the grounds of a huge factory in Wojak, where my grandfather was the paymaster when the war broke out. And Wojak was a mill town, or fabric mills, so the unravelling thread became very relevant to the site. And he worked there until he got arrested and sent to a concentration camp. He did survive the war, but my father, his son, never saw him again. So it's sort of an act of remembrance and a very personal story in that instance. And it's directly related to the other big project I'm doing, which will be in the Lismore Regional Gallery, which is called Stepping Stones. And that is retracing my family's migration from Europe to Australia over 2 generations. So it's my great-grandparents and my great-grandparents, my grandmother, who came out here from out the Ukraine, across Russia, Vladivostok, Shanghai. I do a gesture in each place of significance, and that forms a photographic essay that will be part of this exhibition.